I'm Alison Taafe, Sassy Chef, and welcome to Cooking with ASCA. Today we're going to do a really lovely stir-fried noodle dish with some minced chicken and some hoisin noodles, loads of colourful vegetables. So it's going to be very vibrant, very healthy, really tasty, a little bit of chilli and soy in there as well, so a little oriental effect. The kids are going to absolutely love this one. Okay, so first things first, just going to pre-cook the chicken mince. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil to a reasonably hot wok. Not too hot, you don't want this to be smoking hot. We're going to use some chicken mince. I've chosen some really lean chicken mince, so it's a really good way of getting some good fats. So I'm just going to put that into the wok. And you can hear it sizzle as it goes in. That's really important because we want to make sure that we cook the chicken thoroughly. And this way we're cooking it twice. So not only are we cooking it the first time really well, we're going to reheat it really well. We're going to reheat it above about 65 to 70 degrees to make sure that we kill off all the bacteria. So while it's cooking, you want to be breaking it down, otherwise you'll end up with big lumps of chicken mince. So like with any mince, it's always good to use a wooden spoon. So the other ingredients that I'm going to use today include some Spanish onion, some red onion. I've got some green beans chopped up a little small so that they don't really know they're eating them and they look good. I've also got some red capsicum to add some colour, and also some broccoli cut up nice and fine. Now, so I've got my Spanish onion, I've peeled my Spanish onion. What I'm going to get you to do is take away the root section of the onion, so that's a little bit that grows at the bottom. Cut that away. And then turn the onion around to the side. You see where the lines are? Nature's done a little bit of a join the dots there. You can just cut along those lines and keep it reasonably chunky. If it's too fine, it's going to break up in the stir fry. So you want it to be nice and crisp. Okay, I'm going to cut a little bit of capsicum for you as well. So take the capsicum, you're going to cut 4 sides. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even take a little bit off the bottom so you're not wasting too much. All you need to do is just take a small knife and run through and take the white pith out and just bang out the seeds as you go. What you're going to do is run the knife down, just make maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts across, line them up and then just dice them just like so. That way you've got no seeds and no pith to deal with, which is great. You can use yellow or green capsicums as well. So back to my chicken, which is just about there, just about done. What you're looking for is the chicken not to be pink anymore, for it to be nice and golden and firm. If you're not sure, take a piece out and just check it with your fingers. It's got to be nice and firm to the touch. I'm going to remove the chicken out of the bowl so you can see that's just cooked. It's got a little bit of a golden touch to it. Still nice and juicy, and I would say it would take probably around about 4 to 5 minutes on a moderate heat. Once again, that can be done in advance as well. If you are going to store that chicken, you need to make sure that it's cold, so bring it down to room temperature first. So it's cool enough to put in the fridge, covered with Glad wrap or in a plastic container. Make sure you store that between 3 and 4 degrees. So start with another little bit of oil, and what I want you to do this time is drop the temperature down quite dramatically, because we're going to put the garlic and ginger into this pan. And I find if the pan's too hot, the garlic and ginger gets quite bitter and it burns and it gives the stir fry quite a nasty taste. So I've got my garlic. I'm just going to show you a little bit of a garlic and ginger preparation. Take a garlic clove. And all you need to do is take off the very hard end, which is the bottom of the garlic. So just take a little knife across that, get rid of that. Take a knife, blade away from you, smash it, just pop out the skin, just like so. Very easy. Take it to the corner of the board and just run your knife through and roughly chop that. Nothing hard about peeling garlic with that technique, it's pretty good. Not too fine with the garlic, because otherwise, as I say, it will burn. So you can hear that that temperature's gone down a little bit now, so there's not too much burning going on. So put your garlic in there. So nice and gentle with this. It's probably the only time I start my wok quite low on temperature, is when the garlic and ginger are in. Just going to use a little microplane, otherwise a grater, or if you want to chop the ginger, it's entirely up to you. Always looks a bit more sexy when you use a microplane though. Looks like you know what you're doing. So look, a little bit of fresh ginger, and if it's nice young ginger like this is, there's no need to even peel it. Just keep it like it is. Okay, so chop that in there. Beautiful. Smells fantastic. Got a little bit of heat in it as well, which is quite good. So yeah, just stir fry that until you can just smell the aromas coming from the pan. And as soon as you can smell the aromas coming from the pan, you're going to start putting all the other veg in. So you can turn up the flame slightly. Not too much, don't go too hot here. Okay, so you put your onions in, gives you a little bit of a base, and that also helps to cool the pan down. So if the wok is getting too hot, the onion that goes in there is naturally going to cool that down. Okay, so now you're stir frying, so I'm just going to increase the temperature just a little bit, so I can get some texture into that onion as well, but I want it to be ultimately quite crisp as well. There's nothing worse than soft noodles and soft vegetables. Plus you're going to lose the nutrients in the veg if you have it up too high. So, all right, so just stir fry those, so the garlic and the ginger are beautifully cooked and not burnt, which is really important here. Okay, so get the onions in, give it a head start with the onions, and then sprinkle in a few capsicums. And the essence of this dish is bright, vibrant, crunchy and healthy, so don't overcook this. Do a little bit of broccoli and make sure the broccoli is cut into nice small pieces as well. That way it will cook nice and quick and will seal in and lock in all those vitamins and chlorophyll and all that goodness that you want. And the same thing with the beans, cut them nice and small and you're less inclined to have to cook them for too long, which is great. So add those beans. And already you know you're doing your kids a service because that's got beautiful colours in there and you know it's healthy. We've also got the chicken and noodles to go in there yet. So we know this is going to be a really beautiful dish to eat. It's nice and colourful. All you're looking really now is just to have those vegetables intensify in colour. So the bright red of the capsicum comes out, the green of the broccoli starts to lock in, the beans look nice and the onions start to just get a little bit soft but not too much. So as you can see, that's really lovely. And as I say, you know your canteens better than I do. Put as much veg in there as you can get away with. And if it's peas and corn to start with, go for it and add a little bit of veg every week or so until you're up to 5 veggies in that pan. They're going to love it. All right, so we've got our stir-fried vegetables already. Probably about 5 minutes there. Our chicken here, now if you have this chicken in the fridge overnight, bring it back to room temperature and then put it in your wok and make sure that goes above about 65 to 70 degrees in there. And I'll show you that in a moment. So pop the chicken in and all the juice, don't waste any of that. Okay, now just drop the temperature down of your wok because you don't want this to burn and stick at this point. See, already you could serve this. Without the noodles, you could serve this as it was. It's almost like a sanchoy bao. You would have to cut the vegetables a little bit smaller if you wanted to do that, but it would be really nice with some iceberg lettuce and just the way it is, it's fantastic. All right, so our noodles, we've got our Hoiken noodles. You can use thick or thin, entirely up to you. A good tip is to break open the noodles in the packet, run some boiling water through them, then rinse them with cold water and then break them up. So basically they become free-flowing. You know, otherwise you put the block of noodles in and you're trying to bash it up in the pan. It's really difficult, so that's a really good tip. Pop those in as they are. Lovely. And all you need to do now is moisten with a bit of sauce. So I'm using some sweet chilli and some soy. Now remember, no salt or pepper in this dish. This is in place of the salt. And you can use salt reduced light soy as well if you're worried about the salt content going in the food. All right, so add a little bit and taste it. That's the best thing you can do. The soy is there for seasoning. So if you're not sure, grab one of the noodles and just taste it. Also, the sauces give that lovely luscious shine to this noodle dish and also help to combine it, so it's beautiful. All right, and basically you're just going to heat that through. So the temperature of the wok can be on a moderate heat. You're just going to heat that through. If you have a thermometer and you're not sure about things, make sure it's above 70 degrees Celsius at least and you're fine. What I'm going to do now is just serve this. I think what would be best to serve it in your canteen would be a nice little noodle box. It makes the kids feel like they're at one of those fancy restaurants and they love noodles and it's very authentic to keep it in a little box like so. And we're also going to put some on a plate so you can see how beautiful this dish is. I add sesame seeds to this one to add crunch, so once again avoiding the nuts. The sesame seeds are fabulous in this one, gives a nice little crunch as well. And the sesame gives us some more good fats as well, which is great, that's what we want. So the best thing you can do with this dish is not overcook it, keep the vegetables beautiful and colourful. And it's also a really economical dish as well. It doesn't cost a great deal and it's fantastic and the kids love it. A little bit of coriander on the top of that one as well. Beautiful. You can shred some coriander through at the end if you wish, but some kids are opposed to coriander. I always think coriander's like Barry Manilow. You either love it or you hate it. There's no in between with that one, so I'll leave that entirely up to you. So let's pop those in those little noodle boxes. And like I say, you can have a couple of these woks going. You can have 10 or 20 portions of this ready to be served, and you can keep it warm in these woks as well. And if you just dish that up beautifully, let's give that a little bit of a wipe, made a little bit of a mess. There you go, and Bob's your uncle. Stir-fry noodles with chicken, and I'm sure they're absolutely going to love it. So thank you.